He's coming off the 15-day disabled list here tonight. The Orioles on the West Coast, first of three against the Angels. Delighted to have you aboard. And in a moment, Fred Manfra, his pregame comments. He'll give you a full look at the lineups here tonight from Anaheim on the Orioles Radio Network.
West, unusual for them. 9.5 games behind the front-running Texas Rangers. Here's the hometown lineup brought to you by the Schmidt Baking Company, your hometown baker. Brian Roberts will lead off. Of course, he's at second base. Corey Patterson will be in center field tonight. Patterson in center field. Adam Jones not in the starting lineup. Nick Markakis, of course, in right. Luke Scott will DH. Ty Wigginton at first. Felix Piet, the normal left fielder, but was in center field last night in Chicago. He is back in left field. Matt Leaders behind the plate catching. Julio Lugo is at third base. Cesares Torres will bat ninth, and he is the shortstop. And as Joe mentioned, we're happy to have Brady Anderson with us here tonight in Southern California. Brady, last time we talked to you, different manager, different kind of thought process, different kind of atmosphere in the clubhouse. You had a visit with the guys. Your impressions of what's going on?
Well, you can tell that they've been uplifted since Buck's arrival. Their defense has been so much better, and when your defense is playing well, you feel like you're a major league club and you belong, and you're going to get things done. It just helps the pitching staff. It helps the way you feel. When your defense is in disarray, it just feels like it's a big mess out there. And then since Buck's arrival, that's been the most notable difference to me is how improved they are defensively.
Now, the Orioles so far this month of August, 13 wins, 11 losses, and they haven't had a winning month of August in quite some time. You got to go back, to the 90s for the Orioles to have a winning month of August. We are ready for baseball here in Anaheim. Ryan Roberts stepping into that first base side batter's box. The right-hander Trevor Bell ready to go to work against the Orioles. His second start against the Birds this year. As we get set to play baseball, my pleasure to turn it over to Joe Angel.
All right, big boy, here we go. Ryan Roberts will get this one started. Roberts, in the earlier series against the Angels, 2 hits and 11 at-bats. Out there against right-hander Trevor Bell, who delivers. And a fastball is a called strike to get this game started. Brady, this kid, Trevor Bell, he looked real good against the Orioles in that earlier start against them.
I didn't see that start. I see his numbers now, though. I mean, this is a pitcher you want on the mound. He's really struggling. His walks to strikeouts very bad, and opponents are hitting .324 against him. So I think he's good hitting right now.
0-2 to Roberts as he takes another called strike. And now the next offering on the way is swung out, fought off, fouled away. It stays at 0-2. Indeed, you look at his numbers. In 42 innings, he's walked 17. He's had 32 strikeouts. Opponents have hit .324 against him. Right-handers, in particular, have feasted against Trevor Bell, which is kind of interesting. Remember, he is a right-handed pitcher, and Roberts takes inside. Why would that be? A right-hander struggles against right-hand hitting.
Probably the breaking ball. He probably has a breaking ball that stays up for righties. Sometimes, if you have a slider, it's more effective against the lefties than the righties. It kind of goes into the hitting zone for a right-handed hitter. That could be it. Yeah. Millwood's a little bit like that as well. Right-handers hit him around a little bit when he gets his breaking ball up, and wouldn't be surprised if Bell's the same way.
Roberts up there now against Trevor Bell. And now the next offering on the way is a breaking ball, and again he fights it off. Little foul ball, dribbles off to the right. So Roberts, who comes in with a batting average of .256. But Bell, in his earlier start against the Orioles, got a no decision in that game, went 5 1/3. And in that game, gave up just 4 hits, and he had 5 strikeouts in that game. And he walked only 1, so one of his better efforts. And there's a shot, base hit down the right field line. As Rivera made a dive, couldn't come up with the ball. Hunter tracks it down. Roberts racing into second base and slides in safely with a 2-strike double. Hit real hard just inside the bag at first base. Always nice to see the leadoff hitter have a good at bat to get the game started. But then what would Brady Anderson know about being a good leadoff hitter?
Not a lot. It's pretty amazing the amount of, I know it's been well documented, Brian's doubles, but I was a good extra base hit guy for a leadoff hitter. I never had a season where I hit 40 doubles. This guy seems to have 50 routinely. It's amazing.
Well, he had a real good at bat there with 2 strikes. He fought off a couple of pitches and then got one he could hit real hard and did exactly that. Now here's Patterson. Bell delivers. Fastball is drilled in left field corner, racing over Bobby Abreu. He'll make the catch and then gets it back into third base. And Roberts has to go back to second. So Patterson in the number 2 hole tonight, and in center field tonight is going on 1 pitch. And now here's Nick Markakis speaking of a double hitter.
That's going to bother Corey a lot. He knows his job is to hit the ball hard to the right side, get him over. If he's not going to do that, bunt him over. Now let's see what Brian does. Brian's actually one of the all-time great base stealers of third base. His numbers of stealing third base is really, really incredible. The percentage of stolen bases, I think he has over 70 stolen bases stealing third, and he has about 250 in his career. So his percentage is it really is historical. But Corey didn't get him over. Let's see if he gets over by himself.
All right, here goes Sabell. We'll go to work on Markakis. Here comes the pitch. And fastball just a little bit low and outside, ball one. Well, we saw the other day Nick Markakis stole third base with Wigginton up there hitting with one out. Are you a believer of that?
Well, if you can take third, yeah, obviously it's easiest to take it when there's no outs or two outs because they're not paying as much attention. There he goes.
Yeah, there he goes. The pitch outside, throw to third, bounces in, and there's no tag. And just as Brady Anderson predicted, Roberts steals third base.
It really is uncanny how good he is stealing third. I never had a great feel for it. I was strictly probably 80% of my stolen bases were of second. I never quite felt comfortable. I think when I came into the league, it was not quite as accepted to steal third base, especially with two outs or no outs. But, right there, they're holding him on. He just has that ability to know when the pitcher's going home. I never had that feel that Brian has stealing third base.
All right, so Markakis now, the count of 2 balls and no strikes. Bell ready and delivers. And there's a dribbler foul just to the left of home plate. Well, some hitters, they don't like that situation because they feel that sometimes they get distracted by a base runner at second base stealing third base. I think that might have been the case with Wigginton the other day.
I used to ask players. Cal, sometimes it bothered him, especially if he wasn't expecting it. There was 2 outs. I asked Palmeiro. I used to go down the lineup and say, hey, does this bother you? Palmeiro, he didn't notice. He didn't even care. Palmeiro's one of those hitters that...
And Markakis takes just outside for a ball. The count 3-1 now to Nick Markakis.
Nothing really bothered Rafi. He's just up there, man. There'd be times when I'd actually get great jumps at third base, and he would swing. I go, what are you doing? He said, I didn't even know you were going. So some guys pick up everything, and some guys are just pretty oblivious.
The count 3-1 to Markakis. Infield backed up. There's a line drive, gently hit left center. That's a base hit. Roberts can crawl in to score. So Markakis going to the opposite field on one bounce to Bobby Abreu. Drives in a run. His 45th RBI. It's 1-0 Baltimore.
You want to explain to me how that was gently hit?
Well, I thought it was kind of a looping line drive.
I'd have been pretty happy if I hit it that hard.
I will grant it. It was hit harder than I thought it was initially. Kind of a looping line drive. It wasn't like a laser shot, was it?
Like a rocket to me.
Okay. Spoken like a hitter. Those infield singles. What a rocket that was. Huh? Now here's Luke Scott. Now you're right. That was hit a little bit harder than I initially thought. I'm sure Markakis feels the same way. Now here's Luke. And he takes a strike. So Bell gets ahead of Luke Scott. Luke hitting at .289, 25 home runs. A couple of home runs this year against the Angels.
You mentioned Nick stealing third the other day. That's one thing that I've been kind of disappointed. If there's one thing I could point to Nick that I wish he would do more is I wish he'd go back to stealing born bases, get about 20 to 25 a year, which I think he's capable of. Especially in a year like this year where they're pitching around him. Decidedly pitching around him. He's the one guy in the lineup you can see teams don't want to let hurt him in key situations. And that's the way you can sort of mitigate that. If you're a hitter, you can you end up on second base, and pitchers will be a little more careful not pitching around you so much.
Now the 0-1 to Luke. There's a little bouncy ball at first base. Rivera will go to second, out, and the return, out, double play. With the pitcher covering, they get the double play to retire this side. But they do get a run on the Markakis. Really well-hit single. It's a rocket. We head to the bottom of the first inning. It's 1-0 Orioles on the Orioles radio network. And Bobby Abreu comes up as the Angel leadoff hitter. Abreu, then Howie Kendrick, and then Alberto Callaspo. Brad Bergeson tonight looking for what would be a third consecutive victory for him. And he delivers a called strike, a fastball to Bobby Abreu. And Abreu's been the Angel leadoff hitter for a while now. Of course, the Angels have had a very disappointing season. Here comes the 0-1 delivery to Abreu. This fastball low and inside. Bergeson, talking to Rick Kranitz the other day, since he's turned his season around, he's been throwing a lot more four-seam fastballs. I mean, he's a big sinker ball guy, but the four-seamer for him lately has made a big difference. And I bounces this one on the count 2-1. I mean, Brady, you can't live by just the sinker alone, I guess.
Especially when you're struggling with the sinker like he was. He was sort of pushing it. He was trying to get a feel for it. He didn't have it. It's good to have another look. Now there's a certain scouting report on him, and now all of a sudden his four-seamer is probably 4 or 5 mile an hour faster than his two-seamer.
Yeah, it is. There's the next offering is fouled away. In fact, he's been throwing fastballs at 94, 95 miles an hour, and that makes a big difference. Yeah.
Huge difference. Well, and just like I said, it gives you another look. It's another pitch, and four-seamer is going to be easier to control. And then in the back of the hitter's mind, they know he has that two-seamer as well. So, you know, the more you can add to your repertoire, the better.
Now the count 2-2. Here comes the next offering. Abreu takes a breaking ball, gets him looking. Strike 3 called. And that might have been the first breaking ball that Bobby Abreu saw in that at bat.
I really think he felt handcuffed to Bergeson himself. I talked to him after a game in New York, and he said he just didn't have a feel for it. So if you rely strictly on a two-seamer and you go out there and you just don't have a feel for it, that was a great thing about Messina. You'd go out there, he'd have 6 or 7 pitches to work with, and he'd sort of feel his way through the game if he didn't have his best stuff. And so to add that pitch to Bergeson's arsenal, especially if he goes up to 94 miles an hour, I mean, that's a legitimate major league fastball right there. So that complement with his two-seamer, you know, it makes sense that his season's turned around since that.
It's nice. Kendrick takes a fastball for a call strike, and then the next fastball is a little bit low and outside the ball. Well, Bergeson, his last start was against Texas, and in that game gave up 5 runs and 9 hits in 7 innings. There's a shot toward left, and a base hit right past the lunging Cesar Turris. Pierre fields it and gets it back into second base, and Kendrick with a well-hit single with 1 out, and it'll bring up Alberto Callaspo. Brady in his last start, he gave up 9 hits and 5 runs, but that was a game in which the Orioles hit 4 home runs against Cliff Lee, so he got a lot of run support in that game.
Good day for Josh.
So far, he had a couple of home runs, although he has struggled since. And now here's Callaspo, a switch hitter. Orioles ahead 1-0 in the first inning, and first pitch is low and inside for a ball.
Well, this month of August has been a terrific one for Brad Bergeson, 2-0, but each start he's made, the Orioles have won. So all in all, the Orioles are 4-0 in his 4 starts this month of August.
Now the right-hander again ready and delivers, and Callaspo takes a fastball, and he gets that call on the inside corner at the knees. Boy, Bergeson gets those corners. He's going to be tough to handle tonight. 1-1 now to Callaspo. Up there hitting left-handed. And here with a batting average of .336. Go to first. And Kendrick is back in there standing. Callaspo right now, an 11-game hitting streak. He's had 18 hits in 41 at-bats in those 11 games for a batting average of .439. So this guy's hot right now. Bergeson a look at first base. Long look and out delivers. This one is too low. The count 2-1. Well, Bergeson, in 4 of his last 5 starts, he has allowed no more than 3 runs. So lots of quality starts. And count 2-1. Callaspo waits. There goes the runner. Swinging a foul ball on a hit and run, and a ball that was up and away. And Callaspo chased it, got a piece of it, and fouled it away. That might have been interesting, Brady, because where Bergeson threw that pitch, it had the effect of a pitch out. With Kendrick running on that play.
I was trying to get a good look at that as a hit and run or just a straight steal, but the guy fouled off. Kendrick got 11 stolen bases. I've been watching him to see if he looks like he's going to go. He looks like he's trying to go.
Yeah, there he goes. And there's a bouncy ball, base hit to right field, right past Wigginton. So Kendrick will go to third base. And Markakis gets it back into second base. Now the Angels have runners on first and third with only 1 out, and it'll bring up Torrey Hunter. Well, the fact that Callaspo on that previous pitch swung at a ball that was, way up and away led me to believe that he was forced to swing.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't watching the pitch like you. I was focusing on Kendrick the whole time. So it looked to me like it was a straight steal, but I can see why you thought that, and you could be right.
Yeah, there's Torrey Hunter, runners at the corners, and only 1 out. Orioles ahead 1-0 here, so Bergeson in a little difficulty early in this game. And Torrey Hunter lately, he's been doing a good job with the bat. Remember in that earlier series, he was 7 for 13 against the Orioles, too. He takes outside, ball 1. In fact, Torrey Hunter, his last 19 games, he's hit .343. So he, too, has been a hot hitter of late. For the season, Hunter hitting .290. Out there, 1 ball, no strikes. And now Bergeson ready and delivers again. And again outside, and the count 2-0.
Torrey's been really good for a long time. I remember when he came in the league with the Twins, I never thought he was going to develop into the power hitter that he has. I'm sort of surprised that they're moving him to right field.
And the right-hander Bergeson again delivers, and Hunter takes low and inside, ball 3-0. Now Hunter is the leading RBI man on this Angel ball club. Does he have the green light here? I would imagine so. What do you think, Ray? If he likes it, he's got to be
I would
active.
say absolutely.
Yeah.
He has a green light.
Well, he takes a call strike. And he thought it was ball 4. He made a move to first base. So again, Bergeson looked like that time got the outside corner at the knees. So now 3-1. Hunter does have 18 home runs. Bergeson looks in, says yes. He will set, he'll deliver, and a pop-up. Second base side, Roberts onto the outfield grass, makes the catch. That's a big out right there. He got behind 3-0, then at 3-1, he got the pop-up. Sometimes if you're a starting pitcher, you get a little trouble early in the ball game. You got to be able to navigate your way through that, and we'll see if Bergeson can complete the job here as Hideki Matsui comes up to hit. And lately, Matsui's also come alive offensively. After getting off to a bad start.
He had 6 hits and 11 at bats against Rays pitching and drove in 6 runs in that series against Tampa Bay.
He's hit safely in 10 consecutive games going into tonight's game. 18 hits and 37 at bats. So let's see Bergeson here with 2 outs and runners at the corners. And the Orioles, they had 1-0. Matsui stands in. Bergeson, bat over at the waist, looks in, says yes. He will set, he will deliver, and he misses low and inside the ball.
That was a big out. I mean, when you're a hitter and you're hot like Torrey Hunter is, and you get a runner on third with less than 2 outs, you're thinking you just have to get that run in. It's so disappointing when you don't. When you're a young pitcher like Bergeson, you just want to get out of the first inning. You don't want to think, here I gave up a run right away. So that could give him a big boost.
Yeah. And now the 1-0 to Matsui, swung on and fouled away, especially after he got behind Torrey Hunter, 3 balls and no strikes, and he came back and
you're
got
thinking first and third, you're 3-0 to Torrey Hunter, you're going to give up at least 1 here.
So Bergeson has Matsui with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Hendrick is at third base. Callaspo is at first base with 2 outs. Infield backed up all the way, except Wigginton is on the bag at first base, and now a balk is called. Wow. All of a sudden, the plate umpire walks out and charges Bergeson with a balk. So Kendrick comes in to tie the game, and Callaspo is given second base. And of course, in this situation, you wonder, and Buck Showalter's wondering in the Oriole dugout, what exactly did he do?
Oh, he had that little leg buckle there where it looked like he started his stretch and then stopped it.
And now Matsui, he takes a low and inside for a ball.
It's a strange rule when they call like that. They called that the other day on, who'd they call it on? You see that on TV? It was, So I think the intent of the rule is to not cause deception. You can see on a play like that, he's really not doing anything. He just kind of had a little flinch, but technically, it's right. It is a balk.
Yeah, there's a swing on a miss by Matsui, so the count 2-2. You saw the replay.
It was Garza in Tampa Bay. They called one on him. He went nuts on a little bit. He did the same thing, just that little flinch with his shoulder. Bergeson did it with his legs.
Now, I think Bergeson caught himself and tried to step off the rubber, but he got caught.
Exactly.
So Matsui 2-2. 1-1 game. Runner at second base with 2 outs. And Bergeson again delivers. Swing and a miss. Fastball strikes him out. So the balk cost him, but he does a good job, minimizes the damage. They do tie it. They leave a runner at second base, and at the end of 1 in Anaheim, it's a 1-1 game on the Orioles radio network. Well, here's Wigginton leading off the second inning, and he takes a fastball for a strike on the inside corner. Wigginton and then Felix Piet and then Matt Wieters. We're down a bit 1-1, just getting underway, inning number 2. Right-hander Trevor Bell. Here comes the pitch. This one, a fastball just low and outside. Wigginton hitting .253 as he stands in here. 20 home runs, 63 knocked in. Bell delivers. Wigginton sends the fly ball out toward right center, shallow. Coming on Hunter, so is Borges. Hunter is there, and Torrey makes the catch. One away, now here's Felix Pierre. 1-1 game. Oriole fans, when your mortgage rate is too high, who are you going to call out of the bullpen, I ask you? How about Home Savings of America? Call them toll-free, 1-877, I'll take it, or homesavingsofmd.com. And now here's Felix Pierre. Felix playing left field tonight with Corey Patterson playing center field. Buck Showalter saying before the game tonight, for this one game as they wait for Adam Jones to get healthy again, that Felix has been playing left field. Here's the pitch to PA, and just outside for ball one. And Corey Patterson is a more natural center fielder, so it does make sense. And the 1-0 delivery, there's a one-hopper, second base. Nice backhand there by Kendrick. And from the edge of the outfield grass, he throws out PA. Nicely done. That's out number 2.
Brady, you're a man who knows the difference between playing center field and left field. What is that main difference?
Tell you what, if you can play center field, if you have the physical skills to play center, it's by far the easiest position. You don't have to deal with the lights. You get a much better look off the bat. When I first moved to left field, it wasn't a very hard transition. I like playing left field at Camden Yards, but you have to deal with things in left field that you really don't in center, especially the lights in these stadiums. I think you saw, seen a couple times in the last deciding plays. Matt Holliday lost that ball in the lights against the Dodgers when they could have clinched. So that's the one thing that's really unsettling. Low line, generally, if you're a left fielder, a medium hit line drive from the left-handed batter goes in the lights at some point, sort of distracting.
Wieters takes a call strike, and the count is 1-1 now to Matt Wieters.
Something you don't deal with in the minors either, because the lights are completely different.
Right, they're much lower, aren't they?
Definitely.
It was interesting, Brady, because Felix Pierre played center field in the finale in Chicago. As Wieters sends a fly ball deep left, backing up Abreu, backing up. He'll jump up, and he cannot make the play. It bounces off the wall and then bounces back in toward the infield. Here's Wieters into second base, a stand-up double with 2 outs in the second inning. And boy, Brady, I thought that Abreu might get to that ball initially.
You see right there why you can get excited about Wieters. I mean, not many guys in the league have the ability to just reach out and hit a line drive bullet off the left field wall, seemingly effortless. But that ball, he squared it up really well. He just kept traveling.
I think Bobby Abreu, as he got to the ball, he kind of backed off that ball. Then he got to the warning track in that corner. And then he got too close, and the ball bounced right past him. So Lugo with 2 outs, and he takes a ball. It's interesting, Brady, because we talked about PA playing center field yesterday. Buck Showalter said before the game today he thought that because Felix was thinking so much about playing center field that it affected his at-bats in that game yesterday. Here comes the pitch. And Lugo takes a fastball strike on the outside. Can that happen?
I guess if you're uncomfortable there. I didn't talk to Felix about it specifically. I mean, I loved playing center field, so it was no big deal. I don't know if Felix felt uncomfortable there. Maybe he likes it so much that he wanted to do well in center field. I don't know.
I think that's it. I think that's exactly what it was. Now Lugo takes a breaking ball low and outside. I mean, he's a more natural center fielder, but he had not played out there this year, so I think he wanted to play it real well. And he was thinking so much about it that it did affect his at-bats. At least Buck thought so.
I always found with fielding, if you're comfortable doing it,
Lugo takes it a little bit low.
You can just go out and do it. I remember, I hadn't practiced left or right field when I was strictly a center fielder coming up, and then I started getting a platoon situation, and I had to go play other positions defensively, and it never really bothered me. I think if you're confident, you just go out there and play it and run down the ball wherever it is.
There you go. 3-1 pitch on the way to Lugo. Slash foul off to the right, so the count 3-2 now.
I always thought it was kind of funny in Fenway Park. They make such a big deal about playing the monster in Fenway Park. It's one of the easiest positions you'll ever play, left field at Fenway. There's no ground to cover. Mm-hmm. The wall's not that big a deal. If it goes over your head, you just turn around and field it off the wall. But I always found it, kind of comical that they made such a big deal. Playing right field's much harder than playing left field at Fenway Park.
No question about it. That space out there. Right off that foul line, the way it jets out like that. There's a shot, backhand by Rivera, and back of the bag at first base, and the underhand toss to get the out. So Lugo retired, and Rivera, a nifty play to save a run. And so Weeder stranded at second base. We head to the bottom of the second. It's a 1-1 game on the Orioles Radio Network. Now, it's amazing, Brady. I mean, it really is amazing in baseball. A guy makes a great defensive play, and it seems like he always leads off the next inning.
Seems like
it
that.
seems that way. Rivera leads off.
Probably not true at all, though, is it?
How many times did you make a great play, Brady, and then lead off the next inning? I'm sure you kept track.
My favorite one ever was, there's only one that I remember, and that was the 97 playoffs against Cleveland, first game of the ALCS.
That's to Rivera, and a little bouncer foul. Go ahead.
And took a home run away from Manny to end the top of the first. Erickson was pitching game one, and on the first pitch, I hit a home run off Chad O'J. Those are, like, if there's two pitches in my career that stand out, it's those two.
After a great defensive play, you lead off in first pitch home run.
First pitch, curveball too.
And Rivera takes outside, and they count 1-2.
And the cheering never stopped. It just carried over from the top to the
bad thing about not playing anymore is those aren't the ones you recollect. You always remember the plays you wish you would have made.
And now the 1-2 to Rivera. There's a bouncing ball. Past Lugo, backhand to Cesar. Long throw, and he got him anyway. Well, Lugo went over. He just couldn't quite get to it, but Cesar right behind him was able to backhand the ball and then got rid of it to get the out.
And that's another thing that usually happens after a great play when the guy comes up. Usually then goes up and makes an out.
Yeah. Well, you didn't. Not that one time, anyway. Well, the funny thing is, you say you always remember the plays you didn't make, and that's because when you're a great player and have those abilities, you always expect to make the great plays, right?
You do.
It's the ones that get away that haunt you.
You expect to make every play.
Yeah. Here's Eric Ibar now, switch hitter. Fastball and swings right through it, and the count 0-1. We talked about Bergeson, Brady Anderson, throwing four-seam fastballs, and he's done that tonight. He's thrown some good ones already.
Yeah, really good. It's amazing his velocity went up into the low to mid-90s. Yeah. I mean, that makes him a completely different pitcher.
And now the breaking ball hits him. But no, it hit him, but they're not going to give it to him because the umpire says that Ibar was in the process of trying to hit the ball when the ball hit him, and so I think it's going to be ruled a strike as he tried to bunt the ball.
It's a bad call.
You think so?
Yeah.
He did pull the bat back, but he did make a move toward the ball. Mike Scioscia comes out to argue. Clearly the ball hit him.
He went to bunt, he pulled it back, and it hit him. And
so instead it's a strike, and the count 0-2. Sometimes if you're a hitter and you commit to try to bunt like that, you can't get out of the way. The ball finds you. So it's 0-2 to Eric Ibar. 1-1 game, bottom of the second. Bergeson's next offering is that breaking ball again. This time is taken low and inside after a check swing.
That would have been insult to injury right there, wouldn't have? They would have called that a strike on him, check swing. First he gets hit and he's got to stay in there, and then let's give him one more strike with the check swing.
1-2 now. Bergeson ready, and here it comes. This one goes away low and outside. The count 2-2. You'd
be surprised how many players don't know the rules. I was watching Bergeson when he was walking off after his balk, and he was looking in at the umpire like he didn't know what he did.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be something I would do if I were manager, make everybody read a rule book.
As the fastball is shot, one hopper. Cesar backhands it nicely, and from the edge of the outfield grass, he fires the ball to first base to get the out. That play there by Cesar Izturis. He got a very tough kind of an in-between bounce and made a nice backhand stab. And now here's Mike Napoli with 2 outs and no one on. We've seen a couple of good defensive plays already in this game. Napoli hitting .251. Bergeson delivers. Fastball gets ahead right there at the knees. Got the inside edge. And the count 0-1.
I wonder how Buck concluded that Felix was trying so hard in center that it affected his at-bats.
The fastball low and outside.
I think he mentioned it to him or something? Or?
Well, he did mention it before the game tonight.
Felix did?
In his press conference. No, to the media.
No, but I wonder how he determined that.
I would imagine he talked to him, huh? There's the 1-1 pitch. Fastball fouled away out of
And
play.
you think Felix said, "Sorry, Buck, I couldn't hit. I was thinking about playing center."
Felix
Got a hit last night. He
He
hit
got
a
a
bullet
hit.
off. Almost took the pitcher's head off.
He also struck out, grounded into a double play. Maybe the at-bats weren't as good as they've been lately for Felix. So maybe
That
that's
was
what
a
he knows.
dominant performance last night by Jackson. They had no
Yeah,
chance.
No question. He was real good. There's a fastball inside to Napoli.
Those sliders he was throwing to Luke Scott were just unfair. They looked like split fingers, straight down sliders. Hardest pitch to hit.
Yeah, Jackson with 10 strikeouts in that game in 8 innings. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. There's a breaking ball. Little ground ball up the middle. Cesar behind second. Has it. Throws off the back foot. He got him. Nicely done again. Cesar, a couple of nifty defensive plays. And Ferguson gets him 1, 2, 3. And Cesar Torres gets all 3. At the end of 2, it's a 1-1 game on the Orioles Radio Network. Well, fans, Orioles back home on Tuesday. Take on the Red Sox. Camden Yards. Good seats available. Call the Orioles 888-848-BIRD, or you can visit Orioles.com. Here in Southern California, tied up at 1-1 in the third. And let's get right to Fred Manfred.
Well, thanks a lot, Joe. First pitch from Trevor Bell, a fastball strike to the switch hitting shortstop Torres, and delivered to Cesar, looking for his first hit of the road trip, fouled back. And wouldn't you know it, the guy who handles all 3 outs.
I was just going to say, maybe Joe was right. 2 great plays, and now he's up.
And so is Torres with an 0-2 count. Is Torres 0 for 10 in his at-bats against the White Sox in Chicago. Went 3 for 11 against the Angels in the only series played between the Orioles and the Halos this year back in Baltimore. The first series managed by Buck Showalter in a pitch in the dirt and a 1-ball, 2-strike count. We're tied at a run apiece. The Orioles scored a run on the first on a Nick Markakis single after Roberts had doubled and stole third. And then a balk called on Brad Bergeson that allowed Howie Kendrick to score in the bottom of the inning. We're now in the top of the third. As Torres takes this one low, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and we're joined by Brady Anderson tonight. Brady will be on television in the next 2 days, but with us on radio, fortunate to have him. And Brady has been working a lot with Oriole minor leaguers recently. I want to give him a few questions about that. Ball 3 outside, so 0-2 now to 3-2. And Brady, you've been down to making some journeys to Norfolk. What have you seen down there with the Tides?
Well, first I went specifically to work with Nolan. You know, Nolan I think is a big prospect, and last year you see what he could do when he was healthy.
Fly ball center field. Borges back. He's there to make the grab. Okay, the update on Nolan Ramos.
So he was just in a funk. I mean, mentally and physically. Physically, his mechanics were off, and Nolan had contacted me, and then Andy McPhail and Peter Angelos wanted me to go work with him, and it's been great. You know, his on-base plus slugging since I started working with him is 300 points higher than it was before. He really feels comfortable. He's into baseball again. I think when you're really struggling, it's depressing and it's not fun to go to the park. And his whole attitude's changed and his performance has changed. And, he's going to make an impact again at the major league level.
Here's Brian Roberts, who doubled and scored the Orioles' only run his first at bat, and he takes a strike one. Did you see anything that was obvious when you saw Nolan play? And the pitch on the way to Brian, a swing and a slicing foul.
Right away, I watched all the games, early on in the year, and you could see what he was doing offensively, but it's one thing to see it and another thing to be able to correct it. So you got to go down there, and we had sessions alone out on the field with nobody else there, and then talk to him about it, and then it becomes, you repeat the good swings. And I think part of good coaching also is you keep teaching, like when you have time alone rather than a BP situation, you can go out there and you can throw one pitch, they take a poor switch, you stop pitching, you go in there and explain to them exactly what they did so they start to feel it themselves, and before long they become self-sufficient and can make the corrections without you.
Roberts is swinging at a pitch in on the hands and fouls it out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes with Brady Anderson here tonight as the Orioles open up the 3-game series against the Angels in Anaheim. Brady, a lot of talk that when Nolan is brought up, and he's expected to be brought up on September 1st, that he'll see a lot of first base action. Your feelings about where he should be?
Well, where he should be is obviously up to Buck. I've saw him play first base. The thing that he hasn't been playing first base a lot in AAA. He was playing a lot of first until Snyder came off the DL, and he has been playing the last 3 weeks there. So I wish he got some more reps there at first, because obviously a position that needs to be learned.
Well, of course, he's going to have a tough time with PA in left field, Jones in center, and Markakis in right, contributing every day in the outfield. Where do you see his future with the Orioles? DH, first base? If you were the man calling the shots right now, as the 2-2 pitch comes to Brian and bounce first base side foul.
Well, obviously Jones and Markakis are fixtures. You know, they're locked in there. PA's been swinging so well since the second half of last season. I don't know if they're interested in some sort of platoon situation where they have Reimhold against lefties. He hits lefties really well. I would love if Reimhold established himself as the everyday first baseman.
Pitch on the way to Bryant. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball down and in. And Roberts is the second out. That's the first strikeout tonight for Trevor Bell. Visiting with Brady Anderson, talking about Nolan Reimold, who we expect to see in a week or so.
Well, the thing about Nolan, too, he's 6'4", he's long, he's really athletic. I mean, this is a fast guy. This guy who has 20 stolen base potential in the big league. So if he worked at it, he should have no problem becoming a competent first baseman.
Here's Corey Patterson for his second at bat of the night. Takes a breaking ball at the knees for a strike one. One thing that impressed us about Reimold last season, and he had an outstanding rookie year before the Achilles surgery, the 0-1 delivery, and Patterson takes a fastball just off the plate, I guess, 1-1, was his at-bats. He was able to have such extended at-bats and have such a good batting eye for a young player. Swinging a bouncer first base. First baseman Rivera fields it along the line. Goes to the bag. We'll get the answer from Brady Anderson when we come back to Anaheim. We've played 2.5 here in the Big A. It's the Orioles 1, Angels 1 on the Orioles Radio Network. And Brad Ferguson goes to work to the number 9 hitter, Peter Borges, the center fielder. Youngster. Made his major league debut against the Orioles back in Baltimore. And the right-handed batter takes a pitch inside. Had a couple of hits and 10 at-bats. His dad is a major league scout for the Orioles. But boy, Brady, this young man can cover a lot of ground in center field. The Ferguson delivery is strike. So
he had a play that he's going to be thinking about for a long time. He went over the wall the other day and knocked one back in.
Here's the 2-0 delivery and a strike at the knees. I saw a note about Torrey Hunter. In his career, he's taken 36 home runs away from.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Here's the 2-1 delivery to Borges, and here's a shot toward right field. Nick Markakis moves over a couple of steps, makes the grab, one gone. And, when Torrey Hunter moved from center field to right field for that game, he said, hey, my hat's off to the young man. He can cover a lot of ground out there. Maybe it's my time, despite the fact, 10 gold gloves, everything else that he's had in his career, to make that move to right field. That's kind of quite an endorsement for a young outfielder coming from a guy like Torrey Hunter.
Well, definitely. I think, too, the Angels are sort of looking what they have. I think sometimes a guy like Torrey, who's been doing it so consistent for so long, you sort of stop appreciating how good he actually is. Borges has a long way to go to replace him. Obviously, Torrey's he's slugging near 500 right now. His on-base averages and his batting average is near 300. So you have to have the whole package to replace a guy like Torrey.
Bobby Abreu struck out his first at bat. Take the first pitch of ball one. Now swings and fouls it back and out of play. Hey, by the way, 15th out of Orioles baseball brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit Geico at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Abreu has not had a hit in his last 12 at bats. Hitting in that number 1 hole for the Angels now, and the delivery to Abreu fouled back and out of play. Of course, Bobby, number 2-3 hitter, and the Angels struggling this year, almost unbelievably 9.5 games out in the West, in third place. Normally at this time of year, you come to Anaheim, and there they are fighting for the top spot, if not alone in the top spot in the West.
Abreu is one of the most underrated players, too. He's been another guy that's been so good for so long. You can hit him in the middle of the lineup. I look up at those numbers right now, and it's probably an off year for him, but I'm thinking for a leadoff hitter, those are excellent numbers. He's got 15 homers, 66 ribbies, 17 stolen bases. And that's how versatile he is.
And Abreu foul tips it into the glove of Matt Wieters, and that's strike 3. And Abreu has been up twice and a strikeout victim twice. Brad Ferguson, 3 Ks tonight for Ferguson, 2 gone for the Angels in the bottom of the third, and now Howie Kendrick will step in. And Abreu questions home plate umpire Tony Randazzo as he walks slowly over the third base side. And Kendrick swings, and it's a ground ball toward short. A couple of steps to his right as his Torres taps the glove, throws to first. A 1-2-3 inning, second consecutive for Brad Ferguson against the Halos. We go to the 4th in Southern California in Anaheim. Orioles 1, Angels 1 on the Orioles Radio Network. Brady Anderson, Fred Manfra, Joe Angel here in Anaheim in a 1-1 ball game. Nick Markakis singled in his 45th run of the season. That scored Brian Roberts in the first inning, and that's been the Orioles scoring tonight. Right-handed pitcher Trevor Bell on the way to Nick, and the left-handed batter takes a strike at the knees. Nick Markakis coming in hitting .287 with 8 home runs and 45 knocked in. Left-handed batter.
I don't think Trevor Bell has a lot to get Nick out with, to be honest with you.
And the pitch to Nick is inside. Well, Nick, in the first look at Trevor Bell, went 0 for 3 against him, but has a hit tonight. Trevor Bell pitched a very good ball game in his first start against the Orioles in the first game that Buck Showalter managed. The Orioles came back to win that ball game, swinging a fly ball, shallow left center field, going out as the shortstop, and Eric Ibar makes the grab. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Orioles Radio Network. Well, thanks for spending part of your Friday night with us on the radio. Late night baseball on the radio from Southern California. 1-1 ball game. 1 out in the top of the 4th inning, and Luke Scott at the plate.
How about Luke Scott with a .572 slugging average?
Amazing, huh? See a lot different Luke Scott this year as he takes a fastball inside. Luke has had a lot of peaks this year, but not so many valleys that he had encountered during the course.
Just the first month, really.
Yep. Been a much steadier Luke Scott at the plate. 25 home runs, 59 driven in. 8 of those home runs coming this month. Pitch to Scott downstairs. How does that happen, Brady, when a guy in his
You're
career...
asking the right person, I'll tell you that.
No. Luke had always been a streaky guy. Lots of power during those streaks, and then other times, here's a swing and a pull foul behind T-Bone Shelby.
Fred, you know what's weird about Luke is sometimes you watch every single Oriole game.
Mm-hmm.
You don't watch other games around the league. You watch the Orioles play, and you see what guys do at the end of the year, and you look at their numbers and you evaluate them. But when you're evaluating every day, it's sometimes easy to be critical of a guy, especially when he's in a slump. What you need to look at with Luke is the big picture.
And here's a hard shot again.
Which is what he's done when the season's over.
Mm-hmm,
and he's had good numbers every single year he's been in the big leagues. His career slugging average is over 500. You can almost count on 25 home runs out of the guy, and he's never had 700 plate appearances. So maybe sometimes you're too close to the situation watching Luke, and I do admit when he's struggling, it looks awful.
Here's the 2-2 delivery to Scott, swing and a tapper foul toward the on-deck area. Well, Luke says one thing that really has made a difference, at least in the second half of this season, he's hit 13 of his 25 home runs since the All-Star break, is the fact that he knows just about every day he'll be penciled in the lineup in the number 4 hole. He says he feels very comfortable, and he has a lot of confidence when he goes to the plate. And confidence is a huge part of hitting. Here's the 2-2 delivery to Scott, breaking ball down at his feet.
Well, again, whether he was uncomfortable in other seasons because he wasn't playing every day, it didn't show up in his overall numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, he's delivered. He's having his best year where he's played the most. I think he had a 1 or 2 month stint with Houston where he really went off. But for his full season, this has been his best year.
3-2 pitch to Scott, big chopper, first base side foul.
But he has yet to have an even semi-bad year. His years have been, last year he slugged .488. And he's usually if you're slugging around 500.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Reggie Jackson. It's not easy to do that. It's Ernie Banks, Reggie Jackson for their career. Their career 500 slugging average guys. So I think he's really been underestimated offensively for quite some time now.
And so Luke with the 3-ball, 2-strike count, 1 out, 1-1 ball game, top of the 4th. 23-year-old right-hander Trevor Bell was ready to deal, then backs off the rubber, and Luke will swing 1 foot out of the batter's box. Scott to be followed by Ty Wigginton. Bell making just his 5th start of the year, delivery in a high foul, slicing out of play off to the left side, and at a lot of distance, but foul ball. You know, when you shake hands with Luke Scott, you know about strength. He's one of the strongest guys I have ever encountered, and Luke says in the offseason, even though he's down in Florida, he will pick up the axe and do a lot of chopping of wood in the offseason. Not so much lifting of weights, but just chopping of wood to keep that strength.
Well, he lifts as well, and you're right about that. For a guy who's, whatever he is, 6'6'1", definitely one of the strongest players I've ever met.
And now he takes the ball inside, so he draws a one-out walk, and that brings up Ty Wigginton, who, when you look back over the course of the year, you look at Ty's numbers, 20 home runs, 63 knocked in. This has been a marvelous year for Ty Wigginton, doing a great job filling in for Brian Roberts at second base to start, and now being the everyday first baseman for the Orioles.
I tell you what, I would bet if you asked Ty, and I haven't, maybe I will tomorrow, I bet you he's disappointed with this season because he started off in May. There's one point where he was slugging over 600, and I don't think he expected to keep that up.
And Ty slams at it and swings and hits a high fly ball, left center field, moving over as Borges. He's there to make the grab.
But he had those 12 home runs in the bank pretty early.
Yeah,
I think
yes,
after a month and a half or two months. And when you're a player like that, you expect to keep doing it. You don't expect to have a fall off like he has. I would be surprised if he weren't somewhat disappointed in this season, even though it's been a good year for him.
An all-star year. Hey, by the way, that first walk of the game to the Orioles is brought to you by Boardwalk Fresh Burgers and Fries. They're never frozen burgers, handmade every day, and their world-famous fries are fresh cut and made to order. Come by and see in Cockeysville, Lansdowne, and now open in Hunt Valley. Felix Piet at the plate. Felix rounded out to the second baseman his first trip. Piet went 6 for 11 through Chicago's 3-game series. Left-handed batter. And the delivery on the way to Piet. He swings and misses. That pitch came downstairs at 84, and Piet swinging over top for strike one. Luke Scott at first base with 2 down, and Felix Piet at the plate with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. The pitch to Felix down and away, and he doesn't chase, so the count even at 2-2 to Felix Piet. Of course, Felix missed a bit of this season with that back problem. Right now, he's in the midst of a 5-game hit trend, 9 hits over his last 20 at-bats for Felix. And here's another guy we talk about strength. You watch him take batting practice, and he hits the ball as far as any other left-handed batter or right-handed batter for that matter.
He can hit the ball a long way. He's got wiry strength.
We throw over first base.
He's another guy. He looks sort of skinny when you see him in a uniform and you see him out on the field right now. He doesn't look like a big guy, but you see him in the locker room with his shirt off. This guy's put together. He's ripped and he's strong.
And the count 2 balls, 2 strikes to Felix Piet as he looks down to Gary Allenson, his third base coach. And now Felix from that first base side batter's box awaits the 2-2 pitch from Trevor Bell with a runner at first and 2 gone. The delivery swing and a miss. That time Bell got him on that off-speed pitch down and away. Strike 3 as Felix Piet is the final out. Second strikeout tonight for Trevor Bell. We move to the bottom of the 4th here in Anaheim. 1-1 Orioles and the Angels on the Orioles Radio Network. Now a couple of changes for the Orioles as we go to this bottom of the 4th inning. Brian Roberts has left the ball game, so Julio Lugo moves from third to second. Josh Bell now at the hot corner as Ferguson delivers first pitch outside to the switch-hitting Alberto Callaspo. So if we get any word as soon as we do from the Oriole clubhouse, we will give you that information as to why Brian left the ball game. Breaking ball in for a strike, 1-1 to Callaspo. He singled his first at bat.
We can almost be certain that's bad news.
Yep. You kind of hold your breath. There's a ground ball toward the new second baseman, Lugo. Feels it, throws it, and that's out number 1 as Callaspo is retired here in the 4th. Taking yourself with the family to the ballpark, take it easy. MTA, local bus, light rail, metro, subway. Save on gas and parking while you save yourself from traffic. Ride MTA and go home a winner every game. As I said, as soon as we get word from the Orioles as to why Brian Roberts left this game, we will transfer that over the radio waves to you. Tony Hunter popped out to the second baseman Roberts at the time. His first at bat, he takes a strike. Orioles 1, Angels 1. Bottom of the 4th inning. Pitch to Torrey, and Hunter takes it down and in. Hunter has always been a guy that has hit well against the Orioles. He went 7 for 13 with a home run and 4 runs knocked in against the Birds in Baltimore, but also committed when he said one of the biggest mistakes ever playing the game at the big league level when he tried to steal third late in that ball game and got thrown out at third base, basically destroying a rally for the Angels. And he was very upset after that. Scioscia said he was upset, but he knows that Torrey Hunter's a good baseball player, and you make mistakes like that. Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way to Hunter. Breaking ball down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Torrey Hunter's had a couple of hits in his last 11 at-bats, but overall having a pretty decent year for this Angels ball club. The delivery of the right-handed batter way inside, 3-2. Hunter will be followed by Hideki Matsui. Orioles here tomorrow night and then Sunday afternoon before returning home to Baltimore Tuesday against the Red Sox. Here's a shot at the feet of Bergeson, who had got out of the way as that ball hit the very top of the pitcher's mound, then on into center field. And that was a solid shot up the middle. And Berge did a good job of getting out of the way, not getting hurt. Couldn't get the glove down, so he got the feet out of the way. As I remember back to last July in Baltimore when Billy Butler was at the plate for Kansas City and hit one hard back to the mound. Caught Ferguson on the shins and cost him the rest of the year. So a base hit for Torrey Hunter with 1 out. There's Matsui. Matsui struck out in the first inning. Left-handed batting DH, swing a foul back. Well, Matsui has been hot recently after a disappointing start to his Angels career. Now there's some talk that maybe, just maybe, the Angels will think about bringing him back next year, Brady.
Well, again, it looks like he's going to finish with around 20 homers and 80 RBIs. And again, you sometimes underestimate that when a player performs below what you're expected.
Another balk. Second balk of the night called against Brad Bergeson. First one cost him a run as the runner from third base was motioned to the plate. And now this time, Torrey Hunter will go to second base with 1 out. And Buck Showalter down in the Oriole dugout. Looks like he's talking to Rick Kranitz, trying to find out what's going on out there on the hill. 2 balks tonight. And that's the second and third of the season for Ferguson. What'd you see?
Same thing. Same thing.
That little twitch.
You can't start to go into the stretch and then stop.
Swing and a miss at a high fastball. 0-2. 1-1 ball game. 1 out. Fourth. Now a runner in scoring position for the Angels and Torrey Hunter. Matsui sets himself. Awaits the delivery. Bergeson, hands together, looks back to the runner at second base, delivers to Matsui, a fly ball, left field, tracking back and toward the left field corner as PA makes the grab. Hunter tagging, coming to third base, the throw. He is going to be out at third. Felix PA on a 1-bounce throw to Josh Bell to nail Torrey Hunter, who was trying to tag from second to third on the ball that was fairly deep in left field, but a terrific throw from PA, his 6th assist, and that's it for the Angels here in the bottom of the 4th inning. We head to the 5th in Anaheim. Orioles 1, Angels 1 on the Orioles Radio Network. We head to the 5th. Here's Joe Angel.
That's right, yeah. Weeder's bottom of the order. He takes a ball to get the at-bat started, and now the next offering on the way is a shot to right field and a base hit right through the hole. So Weeder's on the second pitch of the inning gets aboard to get things started, and now Lugo will come up there. So for the second time this season against the Orioles, Torrey Hunter makes a big out at third base.
Yeah, he should stop doing that.
I'm sure Mike Scioscia thinks the same.
That was not a good idea against Torrey Hunter.
And Bergeson should probably stop halfway going to a stretch and stopping. It's weird. You saw him when he went into the dugout. He's trying to explain what he's doing, but he's not demonstrating what he actually did.
Yeah, Lugo, he takes it a little bit too high.
Both those balks were clearly balks, and I think it looked to me like he's looking in to get the sign, and it almost looks like he's impatient, where he thinks he sees the sign he wants to throw and starts his stretch, and then Weeders continues to flash signs or something. But it looks like he's starting to get ready and then sees another sign and stops again. He's done it twice. And I don't think he realizes either time what he did.
There's a thought of first, too. It's interesting because he's done it twice in this game, and yet to my recollection, he's never done that before. Never been called for a balk like that.
He's trying something new.
That could be it. You did notice a little extra hip movement. Lugo, 1 ball, no strikes.
He thought he'd try that out with his new four-seamer.
Yeah, now the pitch on the way to Lugo. There's a shot to third. Backhand nicely by Callaspo. Got a second one. Relay. 2 double play. Wow. Callaspo to Kendrick to Rivera. 5-4-3. And boy, the Angels here tonight have turned in a couple of marvelous defensive plays there.
That didn't look right either, did it? It kind of looked like he beat that play. I'd like to see that again.
You mean at first base?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought so, but now you're Cesar Asturias. Pitch on the way to Cesar. There's the ground ball to second base. Kendrick is right there, a little bit toward the hole. Easy toss. Asturias going on one pitch. Well, I'll ask you about that, Brady, when we come back. We head to the bottom of the fifth inning. It's a 1-1 game on the Orioles Radio Network. Rivera leads off for the Angels here. Bottom of the fifth inning in a 1-1 game. Rivera and then Ibar and then Napoli against Brad Bergeson. And pitch on the way to Rivera. A breaking ball. Ground ball at the middle. Cesar to his left has it. But behind second base. He'll get the ball to Wigginton. And on one pitch, Rivera is retired. It sounded like he broke his bat. And now here's Ibar. Oriole fans, you know Kelly and Associates Insurance Group is saving lives in our community by donating $1,000 to the Adams College Shock Trauma Center every time an Oriole pitcher picks up a save this season. So thank you, Kelly and Associates Insurance Group, for helping to save lives. And now here's Ibar, the switch hitter. He shows bunt, but instead he takes a high fastball. And Brady Anderson would like to say hello to all of you listening, and in particular on radio station WKHZ AM 1590 out there in Ocean City. Isn't that right, Brady?
I thought you wouldn't do that for me, but yeah, more than anybody then.
There's a special place in Brady's heart for the people in Ocean City. Ibar, 2 balls, no strikes. And now he takes a call strike.
You think Bergeson's trying to figure out a way to balk from the windup this inning? He's probably thinking, I bet I could balk from the windup as well. Mix it up a little bit.
Well, he has made it look easy tonight, I guess. Huh? Here comes the 2-1 pitch, driven out to right center. To his left is Patterson, and he'll make a one-handed catch there. That's out number 2. But again, Brady, about that close play at first base,
yeah.
And it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
I think you thought Lugo was safe. I thought so. I think Fred thought that. Do you believe deep down in your heart that umpires have more of a good time calling people out?
Definitely.
You do?
They love raising their fist for strike one, especially to start off a game. There's no question.
So it's more fun for them to do that. And now Napoli, he takes inside.
There's all this talk all the time about speeding up the game, get the game going. The umpire, it's not the umpire's job to get the game going unless there's some delay in between pitches or they're not getting out the field quickly enough. I remember I read a book about umpiring, and there's a directive from Sandy Alderson saying to seek out strikes. Just nonsense. If the ball's over the plate, you call it a strike. And still to this day, 95% of umpires' missed calls are on pitches they miss off the outside corner of the plate, just like they did to Markakis. 1, 2, 3 in a row, all horrendous calls, and then they have to make it worse by throwing them out of the game as well. And then, making another horrendous call on him this first at bat the next day, too.
1-2 Napoli. Low fly ball, right center. Patterson on the run, on the dead run. Can he get there? He does. He makes a running one-handed basket catch and then loses his footing on the warning track and then bangs up against the wall and holds onto the ball. Brady, you have to enjoy it. He outran the ball there.
Amazing play. It's kind of funny when a guy doesn't dive sometimes because now, people die for that ball. I don't think that was one of the best plays I've seen in a long time.
Oh, what a great play. And guess what? Patterson, next inning, he's going to hit second. And to 5, 1-1 on the Orioles Radio Network. Well, we got a good ball game here in Southern California tonight. It's a 1-1 game into the 6th inning. And to tell you more about it, let's get right back to Fred Manfred.
Well, thanks a lot, Joe. Josh Bell with his first at bat and takes strike one from the right-hander Trevor Bell. And Bell to Bell on this one fouled off to the left side. So Josh not in the original lineup tonight, not in the starting lineup, but Brian Roberts left the ball game. And the third baseman of the night, Julio Lugo, had to move to second base, and Josh came on. Of course, Bell struggling on this road trip. The pitch to Josh, broken bat, looper, left field, base hit. So Josh Bell on an 0-2 pitch goes the opposite way, and that will die a hero for Josh. He had been just 1 for 11 with 7 strikeouts on the road trip till that base hit. So he leads off the 6th with that single. And now Corey Patterson, who made the outstanding grab to take away extra bases from Mike Napoli and pull down the final out in the 5th, will step in for the Birds. And Brady, you said that one of the neatest catches you've seen this year.
I mean, when you have this perspective where you see where the ball was hit, how hard it was hit, how far Corey had to go to run it down.
And Corey will bunt at first base side. Bell off the mound. He slides and throws, and he gets Corey Patterson. Well, Bell went into a unwanted slide as he was about to make that toss to the first baseman, but he still got the throw off, and they got Corey Patterson. But Corey sacrifices the runner down to second base in Josh Bell. So Corey Patterson accomplishes what he set out to do, and that's get the runner to second base. But Corey almost had a base hit.
It was a great play by Bell.
Yeah, Bell lost his footing and then managed to lob toss. And Bell may be hurt as we see Mike Scioscia and the Angels trainer coming out of the third base side dugout.
Why do pitchers do that? What do you think he thinks it's so secretive right now that he needs to cover his mouth when he's talking?
I know, especially about whether he's hurt or not.
First of all, is everybody in here a lip reader? Secondly, what could he be saying that really warrants that? Yeah, I really got hurt there. I don't want anybody to know. I'm going to cover my mouth in case anybody sees.
Well, he might have said, hey, I'm okay.
Well, Brady, when you played, who was the lip-reading coach?
I think Sam Perlaza was good at that.
Oh, Sammy?
There you go. So there are specialists at it, right?
Sam was a specialist.
Now, in Chicago, Mark Burley was upset with Felix Pie. He said Pie was...
Yeah, cry me a river, Burley.
Yeah.
First of all, there's nothing wrong with stealing signs when you're at second base.
Well,
I don't know what a pitcher thinks that you can't do that. So change and mix up the signs. It's not hard.
Well, here's Nick Markakis up with a
A-Rod's
runner.
made a living at that.
In scoring position.
If you call $500 million a living.
And pretty cool living, in my opinion. Breaking ball inside ball one. Well, Nick brought in the only Oriole run of the ball game with his 45th RBI in the first inning as he brought Brian Roberts home from third base. Now he has Josh Bell at second, one out. The delivery to Markakis, and Markakis hits it off the pitcher's foot all the way to the first baseman. And Rivera fields that like a foul ball or a line drive and then goes to the bag for the out. And that went off the pitcher. And again, we'll see Scioscia and the trainer come out to make sure that Trevor Bell is okay.
Now I think it's okay for him to cover his mouth. Whatever he's going to say now, you might not want to see.
So that will go 1-3, and that ball was smoked. Had Bell not been there, it would have been into center field and an RBI for Markakis. Josh Bell does wind up at third base, and now Trevor Bell showing the trainer exactly where that ball hit.
Well, that ball did hit the dirt first, and thank goodness for Trevor Bell. It hit the dirt, then it looked like it hit the ankle, and then took a big bounce to first base. And so Markakis gets robbed. And although Bell got hit by that line drive, he also got lucky and got the out.
And so for the second time in 3 pitches, the trainer and the skipper come out for the Angels and get assurances from the pitcher that he's okay. And now Luke Scott will come up with a chance to give the Orioles the lead with 2 down and Josh Bell at third base. Luke has hit into a double play and walk tonight. It's a 1-1 ball game. We're in the top of the 6th inning, a well-played ball game. A run on 5 hits for the Orioles, a run on 3 for the Angels against Brad Bergeson. Their only run coming in on a balk. Pitch to Luke. Here's a base off the glove, a one-hopper off the glove of the first baseman Rivera into shallow right field, and that will score Josh Bell from third base to give the Orioles the lead. Well, Rivera retreated, turned to the backhand side, and that ball hit off the leather into shallow right field. And Luke Scott delivers the Orioles' go-ahead run. Here in the top of the 6th inning, 2-1 Orioles. And that bat may have been broken on the swing by Luke Scott, but it got the job accomplished and got that runner in from third base and Luke at first. So Scott with the base hit, picking up his 60th RBI, and now Ty Wigginton up with the Orioles ahead 2-1. And delivery to Ty, breaking ball upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. So Juan Rivera, normally an outfielder, playing some first base today. And a ball that he thinks he should have had as he slaps that glove on his thigh as he covers first base for Luke Scott and pitch downstairs. 2 balls, no strikes.
Well, the word on Juan Rivera is that the reason he's playing first base is that the Angels are trying to trade him, and they're kind of showcasing him.
Yeah, well, the Angels did make a trade today. as they trade their closer to the Minnesota Twins for a player to be named later. Here's the 2-0 delivery now to Ty Wigginton, and the pitch on the way to Wiggy, inside ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes to Wigginton. At first base, Luke Scott. He has delivered the Orioles' second run of the night, a go-ahead run here in the 6th inning as Josh Bell came in to score from third base. And the Orioles 2 runs, 6 hits. 3-0 to Wigginton. The pitch to Ty, and he takes a fastball all the way for a strike 1.
So do you think prospective suitors were impressed by Rivera's ability to let the ball fly off his glove?
No.
No, they want to trade his bat.
Yeah.
First base is a hard position to play. It always amazes me at the big league level that they think they can just put anybody at first base. I played first base in college before they moved me back out to center, and I thought it was much harder in center field.
3-1 pitch to Wigginton. Swung on and skied to shallow center. In is Borges. He makes the grab, but the Orioles grab the lead on Luke Scott's single off the first baseman's glove. And we go to the bottom of the 6th here in Anaheim. Orioles 2, Angels 1 on the Orioles Radio Network. Brad Bergeson, who has thrown 67th pitch in the ball game, goes to work here in the bottom of the 6th against the 9th place hitter, Peter Borges. Borges shows bunt immediately, pulls back on a high fastball. 1 ball, no strikes. Hey, Orioles fans, this season, it's easier than ever to find the seats you want or sell tickets to the games you can't make on StubHub, official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Orioles. Borges again shows bunt. This time he takes a strike. 1-1. Go to StubHub.com and choose your seats today.
I'll tell you what, this is exciting what Bergeson's doing. I mean, this is, again, hadn't seen him since New York, where he was struggling with command.
Fly ball, shallow center field. In comes the speed of Corey Patterson to make the routine grab coming in for out number 1. We get word from the Oriole clubhouse. Brian Roberts left the ball game with a left hip strain. A left hip strain, the word on Brian Roberts. And, of course, at this point, I guess day to day is the official word on Brian Roberts. So a left hip strain. And if we get any further word from the Oriole clubhouse, of course, we will pass that along immediately. 1 gone. Here's Bobby Abreu. He's been up twice. And he twice has been a strikeout victim of Brad Bergeson, who has 3 strikeouts tonight. And the delivery from Berge to Abreu outside. Well, Bergeson had that rough stretch early. Went down a couple of times to Norfolk. But this month of August, he has found his, what he was doing last year when he was really the Orioles' best pitcher until he was injured in July. Ferguson's 1-0 pitch, and here's a fastball strike.
It really is amazing. I mean, I saw him in New York where he was struggling with his two-seamer.
Yeah.
He was feeling for it. He had to start throwing a slider, and they were sitting on his slider, and he's getting beat up. But that's a different, I mean, literally, it's a different pitcher when you're throwing only an 87-mile-an-hour sinker with so-so command, and now you have your sinker still and a 93 or 94-mile-an-hour fastball. I mean, it's like 2 different pitchers, literally like 2 different pitchers. 94 miles an hour, that's a legitimate big league fastball no matter what kind of movement you have. And when you back that up with a two-seamer that has movement as well, it's like looking at a different pitcher on the mound.
1-2 to Abreu. The pitch to Bobby, and Abreu takes this one down and away. We also seen a good breaking ball at times this season, especially this month from Brad Bergeson. So when you've got 3 pitches gone, that's awfully.
Well, definitely. He's got a better angle on his breaking ball as well. It's not so flat. It has more of a downward and sharper break.
2-2 delivery to Abreu. Outside ball 3. 3-2 now to Bobby. Bergeson has yet to walk a batter tonight. We mentioned the 3 strikeouts. He's given up just 3 hits and the 1 run, and that run with a runner at third base and a runner at first. A balk was called, and that allowed Howie Kendrick to come in from third to score. 3-2 delivery to Abreu. Taps it foul to stay alive.
And that was a two-seam right there. And just like in life in general, I mean, options are a great thing to have, and Bergeson has another option right now. And to be honest with you, his 94-mile-an-hour four-seamer might be a better option than his sinker, but it just puts another little something in the hitter's head to think about. He already struck out Abreu twice, I think once on a four-seamer. Now he just threw him a 3-2 two-seamer.
And we go 3-2 again to Abreu, and Abreu skies this one deep to left field. Going back as PA won't be able to get it. Hits off the wall and then bounces away from Felix. And Abreu rounding second. He will stop there as Felix PA comes up with the ball quickly, gets it into the infield. So Bobby Abreu with his 34th double over the head of PA off the wall just to the left of that garage door out there in left field here at the Big A. Abreu with a 1-out 2-bagger, and that will bring up Howie Kendrick. And after a couple of strikeouts, we get the double off the bat of Abreu going the opposite way. And now Kendrick, who has a single and a run scored and 2 at-bats, will step in. Kendrick, 63 runs knocked in. And the Bergeson delivery to Kendrick. Histon misses outside. Ball
and that
1.
would have been a good time to maybe test PA and see if you could get to third base there. There's 1 out. That's a good time to do it. You're down by a run, but it certainly wouldn't have been a base-running blunder had he attempted for a triple there.
And the delivery to Kendrick. Right to Bergeson. He has Abreu hung up, and he will run Abreu back towards second. Now he gives the ball to Lugo. Lugo to Bell, who tags out Abreu. And Bell then throws it into right field, but backing up is Nick Markakis as Kendrick goes into second base. Well, Abreu was moving toward third when that ball came right back to the mound to Bergeson. He froze Abreu. They got Abreu in the rundown for the second out, but Kendrick winds up at second base, and Bell on a high throw to the bag at second, but immediately backing up was the right fielder Nick Markakis, so Kendrick stays at second with 2 down. So you're going to race Abreu.
Bergeson waited a little too long to get rid of it there. He was too intent on pushing him back to second base rather than getting the ball to the infielder right away so they could control the rundown.
And that will bring up Alberto Callaspo, a single and 2 at-bats. And the pitch of the switch hitter outside. Fastball, 1-0. Callaspo, he has been a hot hitter. He's hit in 12 consecutive games for the Angels. Came over from the Kansas City Royals earlier this year. Switch hitter bats on the left side. And the pitch. Callaspo right back to Bergeson, who feels the big bouncer, tosses the first, and that is the inning for Brad. So that double does not come back to bite the Oriole right-hander. We go to the 7th inning now at the Big A. Still the Orioles 2 and the Angels 1 on the Orioles Radio Network. Well, now fielder Felix P.A. will lead off for the Birds, 0 for 2 against Trevor Bell. Francisco Rodriguez, a right-hander, begins to warm in the bullpen for the Angels. As Bell delivers, and the first pitch downstairs. Bell has now thrown 82 pitches in the ballgame. Bell not in the rotation for the Angels, but they wanted to give Weaver an extra day's rest, so they put Bell in to start this series against the Orioles. The Orioles will see Weaver later in this series. Here's a swing and a bouncer to the first baseman. Up with it is Rivera. He says, I'll take it. He goes to the bag for out number 1. 0 for 3 is Felix P.A. Hey, don't miss your final chance this season to experience 2110 Utah Street, presented by Home Savings of America and Southwest Airlines, on Saturday, September 4th. For one low price, fans can get a reserved Utah Street bleacher seat plus an exclusive 2110 Utah Street t-shirt. And Nick and Adam will toss balls to the crowd between innings, plus interact with the crowd. For tickets, call the Orioles at 888-848-BIRD or visit Orioles.com. Matt Wieters, who is a perfect 2 for 2 tonight, a double and a single, and in his career 4 for 4 against Trevor Bell, takes strike 1 from the right-hander. 1 out, 7th inning, 2-1 Orioles in Anaheim. And the pitch of the switch hitting catcher down and in, a ball and a strike. Brady Anderson with us here tonight. Brady will be with us throughout this ball game and then be on television the next 2 nights. Brady, of course, lives in Southern California.
I won't wear my jeans tomorrow.
No, I don't think so. You can wear your jeans, but you have to wear a blazer and a tie and a shirt. Swinging a foul out of play.
They made me wear a shirt.
Yeah, we don't want any of those. I know the women swooning when you come there with just a pair of jeans on and no top on that cut body that you have. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Fred.
Wow, Fred.
Well, hey, wait a minute.
I didn't know you were looking that closely.
There's the 1-2 pitch and a strike, 3 called.
I'm going to put my shirt back on there,
Oh,
Fred.
please. It's radio.
Now, Brady, when you played, did you do okay with the ladies?
What a question.
How about Brad Bergeson tonight? 4-seamers helped him out a lot.
And 2 out. Brad Bergeson is pitching well. Here's Julio Lugo. Started the night at third base, then moved to second when Brian Roberts had to leave due to that hip strain. And Lugo takes the first pitch for strike one from Trevor Bell.
Your daughter's way too pretty to be asking me that on the air, Joe.
Here's the 0-1 delivery. I don't think her husband wants to hear the answer. Here's a bouncer third base side. By the bag is the third baseman. Callaspo throws to first. 1, 2, 3 go the Orioles against Trevor Bell. We go to the bottom of the seventh inning. It's the Orioles 2, Angels 1 on the Orioles Radio Network. And the Orioles lead at 2-1. Bottom of the seventh. Torrey Hunter, Hideki Matsui, Juan Rivera against Brad Bergeson. Bergie's thrown 80 pitches tonight through the first 6 innings, giving up a run on 4 hits. And Torrey Hunter has one of those hits, takes the ball outside. Hunter in his last at bat singled, went to second on the second balk of the night charge to Brad Bergeson. And delivery to the veteran right-handed batter, fastball strike on the outside corner. And then on a fly ball into the left field corner, off the bat of Matsui, tried to tag from second to third, and Felix Piet nailed him at third base. Hunter takes this one over the plate apparently, but low. 2-1 to Torrey. Now, 2 balks called tonight against Brad Bergeson. One cost him a run back in the first inning. Runner at third base, the balk called, and of course the runner awarded the plate and a run for the Angels, and that tied the ball game. But the Orioles then in the 6th inning, on an RBI single by Luke Scott, broke the tie and have a 2-1 lead. Here's a breaking ball to even the count, 2-2. And the Bergeson delivery to Hunter, fastball inside, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Brady
That's
Anderson.
3 fastballs in a row Bergeson's just thrown, 93, 93, and 92. I mean, I'm amazed watching this. This must be exciting for the Orioles staff. This is a completely different pitcher. He's been dominant tonight.
There's a high drive, fairly deep right center field, but Corey Patterson plenty of room, about 5 yards in front of the warning track in right center, and the Orioles center fielder makes the grab. And Torrey Hunter just a long fly ball out number 1 in the 7th. Hey, Orioles fans, this 7th inning is brought to you by the Great American Tent Sale at Alpaca Ford, White Marsh. Look under the big white tent for big savings on every new Ford going on now at Alpaca Ford, White Marsh on Pulaski Highway.
I mean, he really should be throwing a shutout right now. He's given up 1 run, like you mentioned, on the balk. Only given up 4 hits. I think the only extra base hit was to Abreu.
And here's Hideki Matsui, a strikeout, and then the fly ball out. Fastball in there for a strike. Fastball clocked here in Anaheim at 91. Brad Bergeson allowing just a run on 4 hits tonight to the Halos. And the delivery to Matsui swept foul between the bag at first and first base coach Alfredo Griffin. You know, the Angels had the day off yesterday, but in the final game against the Rays, they banged out 17 hits and beat Tampa Bay 12-3. But here tonight, Brad Bergeson doing an outstanding job silencing the Angels' bats. Matsui with a 2-strike count.
I'm interested to see if Buck's going to allow Bergeson to go into the 8th if he gets through this inning.
And the delivery on the way to the left-handed bat of Matsui high. Right now, Bergeson has thrown 88 pitches in the ballgame.
I think the answer is yes. Buck's been
doing
that.
That's one thing I like what Buck's been doing, definitely, is letting the starters go a little deeper, getting them closer to 120 pitches rather than just 100 and get them out of there.
The 1-2 delivery, ball 2 outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, he has done that, no question.
As you saw from the Strasburg injury, there's no way to really baby a pitcher through the big leagues without getting injured. You're either going to or you're not.
Brad Bergeson with a 2-2 count, 1 out. And now Bergie delivers to Matsui, and Matsui flies to left field, breaking back his PA. He will get there and make the grab as he turns toward the infield. 2 fly ball outs this 7th inning.
You know, Brady, it's interesting about Brad Bergeson. You make a couple of good points, too. And we talked about the fact that he's throwing a lot more 4-seamers these days. He used to be a ground ball pitcher, but this game's a good example. He's had 8 ground ball outs in this game, and now he's had 9 fly ball outs.
He's so much more versatile. I mean, I can't overstate that enough to be able to all of a sudden pick up a 4-seamer and be able to throw it 94 miles an hour. I mean, it's I don't know too many pitchers that have done that, into their big league career.
Juan Rivera's hit the ball on the ground twice, each time to the shortstop. Here's a hard shot to third base, diving stop by Bell. Josh throws to first to get him. Nice play by Josh Bell as that ball was smoked to the third base side. Bell had to dive to his glove side left. He came up with it and then fired to first to get Rivera. 1, 2, 3 go the Angels in the bottom of the 7th. We head to the 8th in Southern California. Orioles 2, Angels 1 on the Orioles Radio Network. Hey, don't forget, Tuesday, September 14th, first 10,000 fans 15 and over will receive a Buck Showalter Orioles t-shirt presented by Real Street Staffing. And don't miss this final t-shirt Tuesday, a Buck Showalter t-shirt night. For tickets, call the Orioles at 888-848-BIRD or visit Orioles.com. Well, Trevor Bell did a terrific job against the Birds in this spot start. 7 innings, 2 runs, 2 earned, 6 hits, 3 strikeouts, a walk. He threw 89 pitches, but he leaves the ball game trailing 2-1. And Francisco Rodriguez takes to the hill to the microphone here in the 8th. Here's Joe Angel.
All right, big boy. Here we go. Cesar to get the inning started. Rodriguez delivers, and he misses low and outside. Ball 1. Cesar in this game is 0 for 2. Fly ball out and a ground out.
No action in the Oriole pen, so
no.
He is going out there again, which is good.
And the pitch on the way to his tourist. This one way outside, a fastball. And the count 2-0. Well, Bergeson got him 1, 2, 3 in the 7th inning. He's thrown about 90 pitches in this game, so. There's Turris with a count 2-0. And Rodriguez again delivers. Picked up the outside corner. Call strike. Well, if you just tuned in, a marvelous game here tonight. Some really good defensive plays. Brad Bergeson outstanding in his start. Brady Anderson with us throughout the entire game. Cesar takes low and outside, ball 3. Brady, you made the comment earlier that one of the things you've noticed that under Buck Showalter, the Orioles have played much better defense. And I think that's exactly right. And a reason for that, they're getting better pitching, and it's amazing how those two things go hand in hand.
Yeah, no question. I mean, Bergeson today in his last 3 starts, he's really established himself.
Cesar lines a base hit to right field.
As somebody who's going to, he was a bit of a question mark this year. He's been sent up and down, and now he's going on 3 really quality starts in a row. He's established himself as one of the starters, and going into next year, that's going to be a big deal.
Oh, yeah, now here's Josh Bell. Well, in a 2-1 ball game here in the 8th inning, I would imagine that Bell is going to lay one down here.
You think?
Well,
I wouldn't count on that.
You don't think so?
I don't.
Callaspo is very shallow at third base. He's looking for a bunt.
I'd be surprised just because of where he's hitting the lineup throughout his minor league career. He's probably not real skilled at bunting.
Well, let's see. Here comes a pitch. He does not show bunt, and he takes inside for ball 1. So at least on that pitch, you were right.
Buck's good about that. I listened to his comment after post-game yesterday, and he was talking about a play earlier where I think Asturis got the runner over, and Buck commented how the runner on second base was slow. There was a really good fielding pitcher in Burley, and it wasn't appropriate to bunt. And I think Buck has a really great understanding of situational baseball like that.
And now Rodriguez backs off the rubber.
Or even though it might have been the textbook play to bunt, Buck factored in the different things going on in the game at that particular moment, decided not to bunt, and as a result gave his team a chance to move the runner over and get a hit as well.
Let's see. Bell digs in at a wide open stance. Rodriguez at the belt. Long look, and now delivers. Bell swings and misses. A little breaking ball there. On the other hand, Brady Anderson, just to play the devil's advocate here, you got a 1-run lead in the 8th inning. You got Bergeson pitching an outstanding game. What would be wrong to force Bell to lay one down?
There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying I don't think he's accustomed to bunting. He's always been a middle of the lineup hitter, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to just get up there and lay down a sacrifice bunt. Some guys are good at it, some guys aren't. I don't know Bell's skill level as a bunter.
1-1 delivery, swings a little chopper foul, first base side.
Brady, earlier this year, there's a situation with Corey Patterson at the plate, a runner at second base, and I think Corey put down a bunt, and it was asked after the ball game. It was asked if Buck had called for that bunt. He said basically what I told Corey: you got to get that runner to third one way or another. Exactly. I don't care how you do it. Do it.
So he let the hitter make the decision.
And that was the option I had quite a bit because I was a bunter, and coming up, it's kind of funny when I was with the Red Sox coming up through the minors, they wouldn't allow me to bunt. And then I became a starter with the Red Sox at the big league level, and struggled. Subsequently was hitting ninth and had to bunt all the time.
1-2 pitch, a little bouncy ball, base hit right field. How about that? Cesar turning second, going for third. Out of the ball is Hunter, and he gets it back into second base. So Asturias goes first to third on a bouncing single that went right through the hole on the right side of the infield. They disdained the bunt, and with 2 strikes, Bell doesn't get the runner to second base. He gets him to third.
But I always loved when managers did just what you said, Joe, and they gave me the option because there's certain pitchers I wasn't comfortable bunting against. I remember I was put in a situation one time where there was a sidearm left-hander throwing, and I was swinging the bat really well. And I would have preferred just to get him over another way. But when the manager gives the player that option, it's a sign of confidence. And then Corey, as it were, he put the bunt down and he did it that way. But It's nice to have that option. It's nice to have a manager who knows you might be feeling a certain way at the plate that day where you might want to swing or you might want to bunt.
Now Patterson is a good bunter. I'd have bunt here. Let's see. Patterson does not show bunt. He takes inside. Patterson is a very good bunter, whether the bunt for a sacrifice or a base hit. Why not get another runner into scoring position and take away the double play possibility? Although the Angels defensively right now have the infield halfway up the middle.
I don't think Corey is a threat to hit into a double play, really, but it's not a bad idea for Corey to maybe drag one here. Yeah. I wouldn't do a squeeze.
And there's a bouncing ball to second base. There's the tag there. The play at the plate is too late. They do get the runner as Bell came off the bag at first base, so he is tagged out. But the second baseman, Kendrick, made the tag and then fired toward the plate. By then it was too late. So the run scores, and now the Orioles are ahead 3-1.
I'm not sure what Kendrick was thinking right there. Usually you do one or the other. You either come in and you go right for the double play ball, or you come in and get the runner at home.
Well, good job there by Cesar Asturias, too, the base runner at third base, to break for the plate. We saw Adam Jones the other day freeze on a play like that, on a ball hit to the first baseman. They got the double play, and Jones was still standing at third base. So now Markakis with one out. Go to first.
Yeah, you always go. If you're running around third, you go no matter what on that play. I mean, because even if they go home, big deal. Now you got runners on first and second and one out, and you still have a guy in scoring position. So,
I'm not sure that Kendrick tagged Bell.
Didn't look like he did.
I think he might have missed him, but the umpire said he did, so he did. Now Patterson getting his lead, and Rodriguez delivers. There's a ground ball to Kendrick. He's got it. His second for one, and the relay by Ibar, double play, 4-6-3. But they do get that one big run here in the eighth inning to make it a 2-run game. As we head to the bottom of the eighth inning, Orioles ahead 3-1 on the Orioles Radio Network. Now the Angels against Bergeson here in the bottom of the eighth inning with the Orioles ahead 3-1. And there's Eric Igbar to get the inning started. Runs up as if to bunt, but instead he'll take a call strike. Ibar and then Napoli and then Borges. So the Angels, they got the bottom of the order against Bergeson, who's now thrown 93 pitches. He has been marvelous here tonight. Here comes a pitch. And a little pop-up in the shallow left center. PA over. He'll get there. Makes the catch. We're going to pause here 10 seconds. Station identification on the Orioles Radio Network. Hey, fans, we'll give you the down on the farm scoreboard from Royal Farms. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms. Norfolk won. They beat Charlotte 5-1. Lou Montañez knocked in a couple of runs. He had a 2-run homer. Tim Bascom went 7 innings, gave up a run, 5 hits, and a couple of strikeouts. Napoli takes a call strike. Final score, Bowie, they beat New Britain 4-3. And Potomac, they beat Frederick 11-4, and that brings you up to date. And next offering is low and outside for a ball. Joe Angel, Fred Manfra, Brady Anderson, here in Anaheim. We're in the bottom of the eighth inning with the Orioles ahead 3-1. And now Napoli takes a breaking ball low and outside.
Well, Buck Showalter does have the bullpen busy. Michael Gonzalez begins to warm now for the Birds.
Right now, Bergeson is showing no signs of any fatigue in the 2-1 pitch. There's a foul ball right there at the plate. The count 2-2. Well, Brady, what do you do against a guy who's got a good sinker, a good four-seamer, a good breaking ball, throwing strikes, gone the entire game, hadn't walked anybody?
take it to the house and go eat the spread.
There's a breaky ball. Gets him looking. There's that breaky ball we talked about. That time he gets a strikeout with a real wicked breaky ball. And, boy, you talk about a perfect pitch. How about that one?
I mean, this has to feel great for Brad. I mean, he was struggling early in the year. I talked to him right after that New York game. I was asking why he didn't throw a sinker more. He said, Brady, I had no feel for it whatsoever. He goes, I just couldn't get it to go where I wanted. I couldn't get it to sink. I was trying to make it sink and it wouldn't go anywhere. And, you can tell this is a completely different guy. He's confident. He's just, bam, bam, bam. It's a quick game. It's been a really efficient game for him. He's not tiring. You just do that fastball 92 miles an hour, and we're in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Yeah, strike there to Borges with a good sinker. There's another sinker. Little bouncer. Cesar has it behind second. Off-balance throw. He got him again. Another outstanding play by Cesar Astures. I'll tell you what, Brady, he's played the heck out of shortstop here tonight.
It's a great game for Cesar.
So Ferguson, another 1-2-3. He's retired 8 straight since giving up the double to Abreu back in the 6th inning. He is in command. And at the end of 8, Orioles ahead 3-1 on the Orioles Radio Network.
See more and be more. The Hilton Baltimore is the perfect location.
.com or Dave at OriolesRadioNetwork.com.
Here we go. Here come the Orioles, 9th inning. They lead the ball game 3-1. They got Luke Scott. They got Ty Wigginton. And they got Felix Piet coming up the hill. And now right-hander Jordan Walden has come out to pitch for the Angels here against the middle of the order for the Orioles. Luke in this game a double play ball, a walk, and an RBI single. Picked up his 60th RBI with that base hit back in the 6th inning. Now, Koji warming up in the Oriole bullpen, so we'll wait and see. Brad Bergeson has thrown 101 pitches, but he's retired 8 straight late in this game. Here's a pop-up. Scott goes after the first pitch. There's the shortstop, Ibar, on the outfield grass to make the catch, and Luke is retired quickly. And now here's Ty Wigginton. Well, I saw Trevor Bell, the Angel starter. He did a good job tonight. Gave up 2 runs in 7 innings. And then Francisco Rodriguez came out and gave up the run in the 8th inning to make it a 3-1 game. And now the right-hander, Walden, will go to work on Ty Wigginton, who's 0 for 3 tonight. Got a fastball right there at the knees. That's a call strike.
How about the O's defense tonight?
Fun to watch.
Great play by Patterson. Really nice plays all game long by Astures.
Wigginton
really
fouls
nice
it away.
Play by Bell.
Yeah.
Good throw by PA, throwing out
How about that throw by Josh Bell from his right knee? He fired a P to first base to get the out. And, of course, Cesar, just the entire ball game, he's real fun to watch. As Wigginton takes a ball that trickles by the catcher. Well, as we said it, Brady, you get good pitching, you get good defense to go with it. Especially Bergeson likes to work quickly.
It's fun to play behind a guy like Brad. Somebody who works quickly, throws strikes. You always want to play good defense. If the pitcher's throwing slowly or if he's not throwing strikes. As a defender, you want to discount everything and go out there and make all the plays. But there is something to be said for the pace of the game and just being into the game and knowing that pitcher's in the strike zone all the time. Gives you a little better read.
A 2-2 pitch on the way. Swinging on a miss by Wigginton. Down he goes. So 2 outs. It'll bring up Felix Piet. And, of course, with a guy like Bergeson who pitches to contact and he works quickly. He gets you to hit the ball on the ground a lot. Doesn't waste any time. He encourages you to play good defense.
Well, like I said, you should be encouraged to play defense no matter how badly the pitcher's struggling. I remember I used to make it a point if we were, losing 10-1, I still want to make a great play and save the pitcher any run I can anyway. But it's just there's something about it. Jamie Moyer was another guy who worked so quickly, and it was always really fun to play behind Jamie. Just guys that work quickly, that throw strikes, they're not messing around. You're just into the game more.
Yep.
It's just natural. It's not something that you're not trying when a guy's working slowly, but it's natural maybe to get a little bit distracted when the pace of the game slows.
1-1 to Felix Piet. We could say he makes it easier for you to play good defense. So we'll take the word encourage out of there, but he does make it easier for you And Appiah swings and misses.
And the other thing, too, like you said, he pitches to contact. That's another thing. When a lot of times some pitchers are really wild, but they're strikeout pitchers, and you're not getting a lot of action anyway. You know, when Bergeson's out there, you know as a fielder the ball's going to be coming your way.
Felix in this game's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. A couple of ground ball outs as well. Walden delivers, and Felix takes a fastball, strike 3 called. Got him on the inside corner. Felix does not concur. So Walden gets him 1, 2, 3, a couple of strikeouts. Well, we said Koji was out there warming up, so we'll see what Buck does here as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning where the Orioles are ahead 3-1 on the Orioles Radio Network. Back in Southern California, and indeed Koji comes out to pitch. He'll come out and try to get the final 3 outs with the Orioles ahead 3-1. The Angels have the top of the order coming up to hit Abreu and then Kendrick and then Callaspo. Brady Anderson, what about this move here?
Well, like we talked about in between innings, you know, I like it. You get Bergeson out of there after 8 innings. He didn't give him an earned run. Feels good about himself. He's on a little bit of a roll. He can go in there right now. Know that he did a great job. It's closer's time now. You know, you have 2-run lead in the 9th inning. Time to get the closer in, and I think it was pretty predictable and the right move by Buck.
Well, here's Bobby Abreu. Well, it's always interesting, and the great thing about the game of baseball is that everybody can manage.
Or they think they can.
They think they can. Abreu takes a fastball for a call strike. I mean, the way Bergeson, he thrown 101 pitches, right? He had retired 8 consecutive hitters late in this game. He was in total command. Here comes a pitch. And Abreu takes a call strike.
I hear what you're saying, but this is a guy who's been up and down. He's had a little bit of a tumultuous season. He's not established. He's not an established pitcher. And 8 innings is a great job. You sort of want to have a plan before the game. If I could get 7 or 8 innings out of Bergeson today, would I be happy? Yeah, you'd be thrilled. So trying to extend for 1 more innings, I don't think it's the proper way to manage. And the managers that I've seen, the best ones, the ones I respect the most on the opposing side and the ones that I respect the most that I played for, they don't manage like that. They have a plan before the game, and they stick to it.
Yeah. The 0-2 splitter is in the dirt. It is 1-2 now to Bobby Abreu.
Now the official pitch count for Berge now, 102 pitches is what he threw in this ball game. An outstanding game.
And now the next offering on the way. Swing at a fly ball. Should be caught. Patterson back toward the gap and on the edge of the warning track makes the catch. Long fly ball out. And now here's Howie Kendrick. But let me ask you this, Brady.
Yep.
With a young pitcher, and Bergeson, we're talking about a kid who's 24 years of age, and he's had some pretty good experience at this level. If they're ever going to learn to close out their own game, these are the games in which you give them those opportunities. Kendrick up there, he takes a fastball for a call strike.
Again, I think there has to be some sort of plan. He's going to go out there. Why just wear him out for 1 more inning? You have a closer now who's been doing his job. You have a 2-run lead in the 9th. Bergeson's going to get, 2 or 3 or 4 more starts this season. 3 or 4 more starts this season. You want to keep him feeling good about himself, his confidence level sky high, going to the off season, coming to the next spring, and he should be able to do that. This is a great outing for him. He gave up one unearned run tonight, held him to 4 hits over 8 innings. Again, you want these guys feeling good and confident all the time, and get your starters going. And again, what about the confidence of the closer?
1-2. Now Kendrick is outside, ball 2.
The other factor is you want to establish a closer. You don't want to have your closer out there in the 9th inning with a 2-run lead thinking that your manager's not confident in you. You come in and shut the door.
Yep. And now the 2-2 from Koji. Little fly ball, right center. Patterson out there again toward the gap in right center. He's there to make the catch. Couple of fly ball outs. So Koji 2 for 2 here, and now it'll bring up Alberto Callaspo.
Brady, what makes Koji effective? Here's a guy that doesn't blow you away with any pitch. He's got the splitter, but yet he is so effective, and guys look bad swinging
He's
against
funky. He throws about 88, 89, but he kind of has a strange release point where he stands up after he releases it. Throws a lot of high fastballs, but that changeup is his arm motion's exactly the same. It's 10 to 15 mile an hour slower than his fastball, and you can tell it's almost like a little bit of a Trevor Hoffman changeup rather. So it's just basic stuff: good control, spotted fastball, and really.
There's a fastball, ground ball, back up the middle. That's a base hit to center. So Callaspo gets aboard with 2 outs, and now it'll bring up Torrey Hunter.
I hadn't seen Koji pitch until the last few weeks,
right.
So I didn't know how good a changeup he actually had.
It looks like he's got a lot of real good late movement on his pitches. So he can kind of sneak up on you. At least that's what some of the hitters have said against him.
It's weird. I didn't talk to the hitters, and when I watch him on TV, it looks like he's straight as an arrow to me.
Yeah.
It looks like his fastball is straight as can be. It looks like a basic 4-seam fastball, again with a little funky delivery and release point, but it's just all set up by his changeup.
There goes the runner. Hunter takes the ball that goes right past Wieters, and Callaspo is going to go to third. So Callaspo running with the pitch. The ball went past Wieters and went over toward the on-deck circle off to the right, and Callaspo winds up at third base with 2 outs. Well, I think it's got to be a stolen base, and then goes to third base on a wild pitch. At least I think that's how they'll call that.
Were they not holding him on first?
Nope, I don't think so. It might be a defensive indifference, maybe.
They're not holding him on at all.
And now Hunter takes a strike on the outside corner.
I just heard wild pitch.
I would have been a happy man if they gave the stolen bases on those.
So that's a 2-pitch wild pitch, a 2-base wild pitch. But he was running with the pitch. Here comes the pitch to Hunter, and this one up and in. Although they could say fielder's choice, going to second base, and then going to third base on the wild pitch. Torrey Hunter with a count of 2-1. Orioles ahead 3-1, bottom of the 9th inning, 2 outs. Koji sets again and delivers. Swing and a miss. It looked like a lot of late movement on that fastball.
That looked like a straight change, too.
Or maybe a changeup. I didn't see the velocity on that.
89.
That's his fastball. That's his fastball. But it looked like it had a lot of late movement to it.
Let's see if the splitter's coming now.
The 2-2. Here it comes. Fastball. Popped him up. Should be caught. Patterson coming in. Under it. Waiting. Makes the catch. So Patterson gets all 3 in the 9th inning. Koji picks up his 3rd major league save. Brad Bergeson outstanding tonight. A marvelous defensive game. Put that all together, Brady Anderson. Tonight they're in the win column.
That was a fun game to watch. Really well pitched game by Bergeson. Great defensively. Got some timely hitting. Had a good time. Thanks, you guys, again. Thanks for allowing me to sit between the 2 gurus.
I mean, usually people say the 2 goofs, but
I thought that's what he was going to say.
That's what I did too. Hey, Buck Showalter now 4-0 against the Angels, and the Orioles with this win clinched the season series against the Angels.
They've been doing some great things since Buck's arrived. I mean, it must feel good to have a manager who knows going to be there for a while, and a confident one as well, and one with a track record. Undoubtedly, this has been a good move for the Orioles.
Well, Brady, pick out a good shirt, pick out a good tie, and a nice suit for tomorrow's television.
See you guys tomorrow.
Good to see you, buddy.
You too.
All right, Brady, job well done, and we'll be back in Southern California with the lovely totals here tonight as we continue on the Orioles Radio Network. All right, hello again, baseball fans. Joe Angel back in Anaheim, where tonight the Orioles won the first of 3 as they come up with their 4th consecutive victory against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. The lovely totals here tonight. Orioles with 3 runs. They get 8 hits. They make no errors, and they lead 4. The Angels had a run on 5 hits and no errors. They lead 3. Bergeson wins it 8 innings, and the only run he gives up in this game was on a balk. So he gives up 1 run, 4 hits. He never walked anybody, and he had 4 strikeouts in his game tonight. Koji comes out to pick up the save, his 3rd. And Trevor Bell, the starter and the loser for the Angels, he is now 1-4. The time of the game was 2:12, and the attendance here tonight, 41,037. The Angels this season will go over the 3 million mark in attendance for the 8th consecutive year, and that's something that only the Yankees can also claim, the attendance here in Southern California. Well, this one, the Orioles took the early lead in the first inning. In the win column, indeed, and Fred Manfred, the Orioles now beat the Angels 4 consecutive games, and they'll try to make it 5 straight tomorrow.
Yeah, and it'll be an hour earlier than tonight's 10 o'clock Eastern Time start. We'll be on the air at 9 o'clock tomorrow from Anaheim, and it'll be Kevin Millwood, and this has not been a year that Millwood anticipated. Likewise, the Orioles. Kevin will be looking for his 3rd win as an Oriole. In his career, in 16 starts against the Angels, he's 5-5. In Anaheim, he's 3-4, and the Orioles will be facing a left-hander by the name of Scott Kazmir. Remember Kazmir, many years with the Tampa Bay Rays, and pretty good pitcher. He is 8-11 this year with a 6.33 ERA. He's winless in his last 3 starts, but he's posted a 3.80 ERA since his return from the DL on August 7th. Now, a lifetime against the Orioles, he is 5-4 with a 4.69. So Millwood and Kazmir will be the pitching matchup here tomorrow night in Anaheim. Middle game of the 3-game series. The Orioles will be here Sunday afternoon as well. Think about taking your family to the ballpark when the Orioles return and the Boston Red Sox are in town and the Tampa Bay Rays on the next homestand. Think MTA. They drop you off right at Oriole Park, pick you up there too after the game, and then you can get there with local bus, light rail, metro, subway. Remember, when you take MTA, as always, parking and traffic hassles disappear.
All right, so until tomorrow night for Game 2 of this 3-game series, we hope you can join us then. Until then, Joe Angel for Fred Manfred and, of course, Casey Willett, thank you so much. Again, the final score tonight, the Orioles in the win column as they beat the Angels again. This time, they do it 3-1. And now stay tuned. Steve Valesky and Dave Johnson next on the All Access postgame show. It follows immediately on the Orioles Radio Network.